Okay, want to introduce the interview?
This is our interview with Matt. For those of us, or for those fans who have been with us a very long time, back when we were just on Spotify in season one, we did an interview with Matt way back then for Termination Shock. Since then, we have seen them several times live and really grown to enjoy Traveler. It was great to learn more about Matt and his many other projects, and he's such an ambitious young man, and he certainly has a lot going on. And I really can't wait to hear more about these other projects.
His ride albums are signed like to Angie with Love or something.
Donna,
Hey Donna.
what a chick.
Anyway, take it away. What part of Canada do you live in?
Alberta, so just above Montana, basically.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet you get some snow. Yeah.
lots and
Yeah.
lots of
I
snow.
bet.
Yeah, yeah,
Of Montana. Yikes.
yeah. No, I mean, I love it here. It's beautiful. All the mountains and everything. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Well, you've lived there all your life?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But my wife, I took her from Toronto. I met her in Toronto, and then long
Gotcha.
story there. Now she's here, and we just had a newborn baby, and
Yeah, we heard about that. Congratulations. That's great.
yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. No, she's healthy, she's good, and she's just over a month old now. So,
You didn't have the argument when you wanted to name her Les Paul.
Les Paul, no, I was okay. So I wanted like Melissa and Abigail, like
Okay, yeah. King Diamond, yeah.
King Diamond, Merciful Fate. But we went with Lucy, and Lucy's a really good
Oh,
name. So,
That's
yeah.
good.
that's
It's
adorable.
close to Lucifer, you can
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I won a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. My
Yeah.
ex-husband and I had the worst fight with our third kid because he got real into horse racing and betting, and he wanted to name our son Cash. He said, "That's tough." I'm like, "No, that's dumb. Cash and his little brother Change? No."
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Can't get behind that one.
no, so it ended up being Craig, which was close, but not Cash.
Hash sounds like
Okay.
you want to be Brett Maverick or something, It's like really,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a 90s like action movie guy, like a bad cop or something.
Yeah, yeah. I always, when I hear weird names, I always wonder, like, what were the parents thinking? Like when the original movie, The Fly, the kid's name is Toulouse, and I remember when I
Yeah.
saw that the first time, I
Yeah.
was like, did they want him to get his ass kicked at school every day with that name? What's the,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
I mean, it could be worse, man. People get pretty weird with it now, like naming their kids just anything they see around the house, like coaster or something. Like just
Coaster. That's a great
yeah.
one.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny.
So
Yeah.
I was so glad we were able to catch you. I think we saw you as Traveler twice at the Metro.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so at least we got to see that. I accidentally figured out what was going on because ironically enough, that week I had gotten he had me reviewing Among These Ashes. So I'm doing
Oh,
the
cool.
review and I'm taking some notes and it says JP ex Traveler. I'm like, that's wrong, Metal Archives.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay. So you found out through Metal Archives.
Yeah,
That's
and
funny.
I
Yeah.
thought, no. So I immediately was like, that's wrong. I was like, so I
Yeah.
jumped to your Facebook page and there's the announcement. And I'm like, oh my God. And it was just put up 2 hours ago. Somebody at Metal Archives was like,
Oh,
I,
wow. Yeah,
I
they
guess
were.
we should. Well, I guess we should talk about that then. So you like, what can you say about? We were shocked. I mean,
I mean, man, like there's a lot of things going on in all of our lives, and it's hard to commit uh, when there's so many other goals and things like that we all want to accomplish. And Traveler, like on top of our already, like we have jobs,
yeah,
so on
yeah.
top of those day jobs, Traveler is like another full-time job on top of that.
I understand. Yeah,
And it's not to say we don't love it or anything like that, or that I'm just like quitting music or anything, like that's definitely not the case. But uh, there's a lot of goals that I have in mind and that I want to accomplish. And I got a fresh little baby here now, and
yeah.
I'm actually in my newly renovated studio that I'm going to be working on down here. And so I want to build up this music studio down here. I want to start a nonprofit organization where I can help uh, younger bands starting up, like figure out logistics and just a lot of the hard hitting questions that you figure out along the way. So
Great.
instead
Yeah.
of beating your head over a wall for years, you can talk to someone like me and I can help you. And P2 visas are a big one. Uh, out of all the bands that I know of, like even just within all of Alberta, like a small handful make it outside of Alberta. And I know it has a lot to do with like the difficulty of learning exactly how to write up those visas and travel.
Yeah.
Um, so that's one thing I can teach a lot of bands too. And yeah, so I want to do that. I want to focus on helping other bands. I have a whole lot of other music that I want to make too. And it's not to say that Traveler's like dead forever, but right now I need some time away and I got to focus on other stuff. Yeah, I want to feel a little more fulfilled being able to do all the stuff that's been in the back of my mind forever. That I've just like never had any time to do since Traveler started taking off. And yeah, it has nothing to do with not reaching a certain success point or anything like that. It's just I think no matter how successful we were, I would always have this other stuff like lingering in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm stoked to to walk away from Traveler for a little while and do all this other stuff. Because taking care of yourself and being happy in general and doing all the things that make you feel good
Yeah.
uh,
That's what
are
matters.
important. Are important. And I would never. I don't want to be one of those guys that like puts up a front like smoke and mirrors. Everything's okay just because we're playing some shows.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not about that. I try to be as real as I could possibly be, and all I can say is that I'm stoked to do all this stuff and get started.
And you pause things on such a high note. A prequel to Madness is just front to back a gorgeous album.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did have
Yeah.
a few questions about it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
it's just I love the whole beginning and that helicopter. How did you get that helicopter?
Oh yeah. So my brother-in-law, uh, he's the one that mixed the album, and he actually mixed. He's mixed a lot of bands like Iron Kingdom and well, Skullfist. Back in the day. Yeah, he's worked with a lot of bands. So he has a good ear for production and some
Yeah.
ear candy and things like that. So when I sent him the track for the intro, uh, he was kind of throwing some ideas like air raid sirens and blah blah blah. So we just kind of toyed around with that for a little while until it sounded cool. So I don't know where he grabbed them from, but he has a bank of sound effects and things like
Yeah.
that. So yeah.
Because helicopter is always a little bit of an ominous feel, even if it's the president landing. It's just that tower and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I really like starting the album that way, and it was definitely like way more on the thrashy side, like sort of like Megadeth type deal, but which isn't it's not really our thing, but at the end of the day, you just do what you think sounds cool, and
Yeah.
that's what we thought sounded cool.
When we interviewed you the first time, you were kind of starting to go into the studio for this album. Like, was the process for making it, about the same as Termination Shock, or different, or easier, or harder, or what?
Way harder, because
Mm.
because well, the majority of it was written through the pandemic, and
Okay.
then which kind of made us do things a little bit differently. So, for one thing, JP recorded all of his vocals in the States, where I would be here and we'd just be sending tracks back and forth, and I'd be giving him notes and producing from this end, which ended up being like way harder. Uh, so that's a lesson learned there. I don't want to do that again.
Like the whole like the file trading thing. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yeah, and just like communication in general was harder. You know, it's way easier if we're just in the same room, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, we made it work the best we could given the circumstances, and we just rolled with that all the way through. But yeah, that's one thing that I probably won't do. You got to be in the room.
Yeah. Understood.
It's a lot easier than waiting a day and a half and being like, I forget what I meant when I told you this. Rather than having like that
Yeah,
immediate feedback.
Yeah.
yeah, and then it was just like because I was doing all the comping of the vocals, like editing them and everything, and because of that distance where we couldn't be like, okay, try this again like immediately or anything like that, it just made the work like 10 times harder.
Yeah.
um, but at the end of the day we got it done and we're really proud of it and we're really glad that you guys like it too, so
It's got such a triumphant feel to it. Was it the more kind of that feel that made you go with like the brighter colors on the album cover rather than the blue grays that
Yeah,
have
the
been kind of traditional?
blue gray's gone. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, we I was talking to our artist Dylan because he drew up like, you know, some rough sketches and actually, shit, where is it? Here, hold on one sec. I'll pull out of my records here.
Okay.
So I kept this just for a keepsake, but this is kind of how every album starts.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I'll send him like just a shit drawing of like something that I'm thinking of, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
The
he'll
cocktail napkin. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, you know, and then that just gives him something to work off of. And yeah, we kind of just we talked a little bit and we're like, yeah, let's, you know, maybe give Marvin some color and um toy with the colors, and I just kind of I let him just do what he thought looked cool, and then he was sending stuff back, and yeah, I love it. You know, he put a lot of work into that thing too. Like shit, what did he say? Like it was at least 150 hours of
Wow.
drawing
Wow.
and filling in and editing, yeah, all that stuff. So
It really makes the logo pop. Your logo looks
yeah.
stellar
Oh, thanks.
against
Actually,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
that logo.
against that those colors, it looks really something. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, that logo was redone by his name's escaping me, but he was he's the guy that No Remorse hooked us up with for like the layout and
Yeah.
everything. So he revamped our logo, and I love what he did with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
So some of the more galloping tracks, like The Law, Mark
Mhm.
was like, this is like totally so were you saying it was Slavag kind of?
Well, I didn't we cover the Slaufeg? I mean, your band's called Traveler. I mean, wasn't Slaufeg one of your major influences? I mean,
Actually, no,
Okay.
but we love Slovak. You know,
Okay.
like we've all seen them a handful of times or been on the same bill or whatever. Um, but no, I definitely wasn't thinking Slovak. But it's funny when people suggest like what certain songs sound like or
Yeah.
think that we pulled influence from, and it's always something different. You know.
Did you ever meet Mike Scalzi?
No, shit, maybe. I know I've like, you know what? No, I don't think I've ever actually exchanged words
He's
with him.
he's
But
You
he,
would
he was
he's been
remember him.
around, you
yeah.
know.
I used to interview him pretty regularly back when they were doing like after Traveler, like when they were doing like in early 2000s, because they would come to Baltimore, and I would always interview him.
Mhm.
And he just would say the greatest stuff. Like he would take his hat off and he would go, "How about the Klaus Meiner report? Look at this hair. My hairline is sprinting for the back."
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah. I
like
mean, he's a character, man.
he's a character, and he would like
Yeah.
we something came up about Manowar, and he's like, they're a joke band, right? They're not real. And I'm like, well, a lot of people think they are a real band, and he was like, they're not. They're not. They're a joke band. Like he just
I
he
mean,
opinions.
th-
Yeah.
I could see why he would think that, because, like, I mean, just pull any lyric out of a Manowar song, and
Well, that's the American, we're so ironic about everything,
yeah,
In
yeah,
Germany, they take everything seriously. They're just like, what's funny
that's
about
true.
loincloths?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, uh, over the years, we've become friends with a lot of Germans, and I love their sense of humor too, though. So they are very to the point, but they
Yeah.
also have like a fucking awesome sense of humor,
Did you play over there? Did you guys play over in
Yeah,
Germany?
they did.
You did, right? Did
Oh
anybody
yeah,
pull you aside and say, "You have not played my wife's favorite songs. This is a problem." Did you have any of that? Because I've heard about
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. We would get that every now and again. But uh, you can't please them all,
Of
But
course.
the one thing about Europeans in general are, yeah, they're very, or German specific, maybe they really want that 1 hour. So if you're not playing 1 hour, it's like an insult
Oh, they
almost.
want the full, no, 45 minutes. They want the full hour.
If you're headlining, at least one solid hour. If you're under an
Wow.
hour, they get kind of pissed about that, which, like, I get it. It's a headlining act, so you kind of have to deliver.
Yeah.
But we've done that a couple times where, because like that adrenaline of being on stage, you tend to play things a lot faster, and
Yeah.
sometimes sometimes we play shit so fast that like we would end 10 minutes early or something like that, and yeah, they get kind of pissed, but
Oh, that's
lesson
fun.
learned. So we just got to keep a few extra songs in our back pocket. But yeah,
Bust out some Michael Schenker covers or something,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
to
Just
appease
some,
them, Yeah.
yeah, some crowd pleasers.
We talked to Foca Macabre, and they were telling us where they went to Brazil,
Oh,
and they were expected to play 3 hours, and we were like, but your songs are so short, and they wouldn't start till like 1 in the morning. I'm like,
yeah,
oh my God.
they're a band
Yeah.
from Finland, but they learned Portuguese because they love Brazilian hardcore.
Yeah.
So they
Mm.
finally had to play in Brazil, and they said not only did they want them to play for like 2 or 3 hours, and all their songs are a minute and a half long, they wouldn't let them go on until like 1 o'clock in the morning. It
Wow.
just sounded absolutely brutal.
So they're like sorry, what was the name of the band?
They're called Forza Macabra, and
Okay, I've never heard.
they're from Finland, but they all their albums are done in the
Portuguese.
style of
Yeah.
Brazilian.
And in that
Yeah,
language.
they
And
learned
no
the
one no
language.
one knew it when they started out. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's really bizarre, but yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
learned a
cool.
lot about the Brazilian expectations for shows. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to go down there. We definitely were in talks with a couple promoters to get down there, and there was a good chance that we were going to go down there this year, but
Mm,
obviously we had to kind of pull the plug before that could
yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
I loved the solo in Dark Skull, which is off the
Oh yeah.
charts.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who
sick.
would you say would, in your opinion, are like the top three guitarists of all time?
Like who's in your DNA when you're writing a solo?
Uh, I mean, every time I answer this, it changes. So
That's fine. That's fine.
it's hard to pick three. That's the hardest thing about it. But okay, I'll give you Adrian Smith, uh, Mark Reale, and say Richie Blackmore. I would, yeah.
Those are three
Those,
groups. Yeah.
Good
yeah,
pick.
those would be kind of my top three, or like Randy Rhoads, and then there's Paul Gilbert, and it kind of goes on and on from there. But yeah, there's that's an interchangeable top three for you. Yeah.
Have you heard the new Riot stuff without reality? Do you like it?
There's some good bangers on there for sure. Um, but I haven't listened to enough of it. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I have to kind of dive deep into it a little bit more.
We interviewed
Um,
Donnie on the show before the album came out,
oh,
and
cool.
he was telling us all about like when they went to Japan, how they were
Mhm.
like the Beatles and they were like shaking the limousines and stuff. And then
Oh,
in the
really? Eh?
US, they couldn't get arrested.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Really cool.
Well, the whole like story of Riot is pretty insane. It just always
Oh,
always seemed like they never got their, got what they deserved. But at
yeah.
least now, with, like they're doing great now, it
Yeah.
seems, But yeah, I mean that's a great fucking band, and I always love seeing them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when when um when Joey Belladonna left Anthrax, John Bush was not their first choice. They tried to get what's his name from the first Ride album. What's the guy's name? I can't remember his name. The guy that's on Fire Down Under. Because he was
Oh,
local.
Guy Spritz.
Guy Speranza, yeah, like
Yeah, yeah,
Scotty
yeah.
after him, and he was like, "Dude, I'm out of music." So
Oh yeah.
how great would that have been? Can you imagine?
That'd be pretty sick, man. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I wonder what that would sound like too, though, eh? I
It
got a
was such
pretty
a hard
cool.
no. Like he was so disillusioned by what he went through with Ryan. Apparently, he just was not having it.
Oh, I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, I've read stories about them being like, like around the privilege of power era,
Oh yeah.
and that was like, to me, like privilege of power era was like peak musicianship for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just everything was just kicked up like tenfold to where like the songs were more intricate, the shredding was like out of control. Like I love that album, but they would be like on tour, and their manager would be sleeping in a hotel and all of them would be sleeping in the van.
Right.
and that was and that was like out how many years into their career at that point too.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite part of the story is when the fans were spray painting their logo on the Electra um, corporate headquarters because they wouldn't put out Fire Down Under. I mean,
Oh, is that right?
who gets to say that? I mean, oh,
Yeah. I'm just pulling out some Riot records here. I have
okay, you got Narita. I see Narita. Okay, yeah.
yeah, I got Narita here, but I got a really cool, like I have everything up till Privilege. Oh yeah, this one. So I got the first album, but I have it. Oops, where did I go here? I got it
Rock City.
signed
Oh, look
signed
at
by
that.
the whole.
Your Rock City is signed. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like, so I bought it. I bought it at a store, and it was like cheap, like $15 or something. And it's all like personalized to this chick named Dawn, to Dawn. And then where's this one? Oh yeah, Dawn, what a lady. So maybe it was some groupie at the time or something like that. But
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool store. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
great
Riot.
band, man.
Yeah.
They're one of my faves for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that concept? I love a prequel to Madness.
Oh,
It's
cool.
how did that concept kind of come into being, or did it come from somewhere?
Yeah. So the title track uh is continuation of like the storyline of Traveler, or of Marvin traveling through space and blah blah blah. His whole backstory. It's a continuation of that story, from Starbreaker to now, and it kind of intertwines with my other band, Hrom, that has a we've done concept albums, where there's something that's mentioned throughout the storylines, like a time diamond, and that's what you see Marvin holding on the cover.
Okay.
So he's
Right.
saving the time diamond from destruction. You know.
Right.
So if you go back to and listen to my other band, Hrom, and kind of follow the storylines in those concepts, it'll kind of all tie together there too.
That's cool.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to it coming home the other day, and right as I was pulling up, the last song is on, and I thought I had a little tear in my eye he goes up for that ethereal traveler note at the end. I'm like, did they
Yeah.
know? Was this a sign?
I mean, well,
It
I
just
think we did that one last. Was that the last song? It must have been the last song that we recorded vocals for, I think. Because I know that it was the longest one, and it was kind of the one that was. It was. Oh, no, it wasn't actually. No, it wasn't the last one. Sorry, I got it all mixed up. But no, I mean we just wanted to end on a nice epic, so but I'm really proud of how that one turned out. It's one of my
Really, really
favorites.
good. It was just like, it was like ironical to me. I'm like, they're singing about Traveler. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just it.
Yeah. Little name drop there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I gotta say, sad as I was when I heard that you guys were stopping Traveler, Among These Ashes, damn. I
yeah,
mean,
they rule. Yeah,
wow.
really good.
With his vocals, wow, that is a hell of a band, I tell you. Ooh,
Yeah, they're really cool. And
yeah.
JP is always busy with all sorts of projects, so he's got that going on. Syrinx, and then he joined he you'll have to ask him, I can't remember the name. But he joined another band with some older fellows that are just like seasoned musicians, and so he's doing some stuff with them, and then he's writing another record as well
Wow.
for his solo
Yeah.
stuff that he's doing, and he's going to take some of the Traveler themes and things that we didn't work on, and carry over some of those ideas to his solo stuff here. So
That's so
it's
cool
gonna be
that
awesome.
that's so cool that you guys are able to, put it on pause and everybody gets to work on their own stuff, but you still have the thread of Traveler.
That's
That's
great.
Yeah,
really cool, because a lot of times it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
go that way. A lot of times it ends up with anger and bickering and,
Lawsuits.
well, lawsuit,
That's the thing, man. Like at, like obviously, like every band has like some tension here and there, but as long as you are truly good buddies and you don't let shit crash and burn, like you'll be okay. And like I was getting noticeably on edge as the years went by because of all these things that I wanted to do that I never had time to do. And I would never want our friendships to be spoiled in any way. So that
yeah.
was really important to me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So we're all pumped. Actually, Nolan too. Nolan's working on uh two different projects right now too, and he's he he's like an amazing songwriter. For like you don't really hear that very often out of drummers, like I'm sorry,
Right.
all the drummers out there
Well, I
if
can
you're
think of one Canadian that has passed on, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, right, yeah, but Nolan's like written some fucking awesome music, especially in our other band Hrom, and now he's sending me some tracks of the stuff that he's working on now, and it's like it's fucking sick. So I'm really looking forward to hearing that. And JP sent me some stuff that some snippets of things that he's working on, and it really sounds great. And Jake, he's in this other band called Witch,
mhm.
and they're more like like deathcore type deal, but they're all like insane musicians. And and then I got a whole bunch of shit that I'm kind of in the works here. But number one is that I'm working on like more of a death thrash, like early '80s, or not
Ah,
early '80s, more of a late '80s, early '90s vibe.
Okay.
Um, it'll be fast, it'll be heavy, and um, I just want to go nuts on that shit for a little while.
That was the era of like who could be more technical.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how technical it'll be, but I just want to write some just batshit, aggression, just
Yeah,
like crazy shit. So I got some guys in mind to do that, and I'm just gonna have fun, just
that's
that's
awesome.
great.
do
Yeah.
whatever sounds cool, and then I was talking to, yeah, I don't know, I've just been talking to a lot of people about different ideas that we can kind of do, and um, I'm just gonna whether it's like crazy death thrash or shit that sounds like rainbow or whatever. Like I'm just gonna be kind of working on anything. So
All right. So
Awesome. I can't wait to
as a
hear
Canadian, I need you to weigh in on this.
it.
So
Uh-oh.
should
okay.
Lee and Lifeson just get like fucking Mike Portnoy and just go out and just start playing the songs or what? I mean, should they just do it?
Uh I don't know, man. I mean like that three piece is like it's hard to touch that. And I can see why they wouldn't want to do it because that bond that they had for however many years. Like, how many years was that?
Yeah.
It, they're well off. They accomplished, the most that they could possibly accomplish. They've made the music together. If they were to do it again, um, and if they do, like, maybe they won't call it Rush.
Right.
Maybe they'll just call it something else. Because
Don't use
Rush,
the R word.
right? Yeah, but Rush was them.
Yeah.
Those three. So I understand if they don't want to call it that. They'll probably do some Rush songs live, obviously, but
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I saw Rush once. That was like the Snakes and Arrows tour. I think that was like 2007 or something like
Yeah.
that. Can't remember. But it was, yeah, fucking ruled.
Those last two albums, they went out on a great note. I mean, wow.
Yeah,
They were
yeah, they're an incredible band, man. But
incredible.
uh, yeah, I mean, there's so many bands that do that though, where they revive and their name just kind of looks good on a poster instead of it being the actual band.
So, would you ever consider doing like a full concept album like this again? Like front to back? Was it harder?
I mean, well, this one wasn't a full concept.
No. But would you
But
consider doing that?
oh, sure. I mean, like, I love writing stories like that, and it's something we've done in the past, not as Traveler, but in other bands. And yeah, if something's inspiring enough to write a whole album about, absolutely. But you know, at the moment, I don't have anything like that where I feel like I would write an entire album about. But it is fun. Like, I can see why King Diamond does it all the time because
It's always about tea with grandma.
yeah, exactly. But it's fun. It's fun to make up those stories and
But the new song is fucking awesome. My God, it's like he never went away. Have you seen the video
oh,
for that?
fun.
Holy shit,
No,
dude.
that was one of the things I keep forgetting to check it out. I have to
It's
check it
oh
out.
my God, it's great. The twin guitars and it's great. It's like he never went away.
So I know I wanted to ask you about your video for Heavy Hearts.
Mhm.
It was a neat concept. What was that glowing thing you were all standing around?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we hit up Dan Cleary, because he does all the videos for Stryker, uh, and so we dressed up our jam room to make it kind of not look like a basement, more like
Yeah.
just a rehearsal space or something. But um, Nolan had this like barrel that he used to use on stage with one of his old bands, and we needed some shots to kind of fill in so that it wasn't like boring, throughout the whole thing. So we just stuck a light in the bottom of this barrel, and it ended up like working perfectly. So we just tried some different ideas of just standing around it as if it was like a barrel fire.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. We just had that barrel, and we just thought of dropping a light in it, and
It works really well though. Yeah.
Looks like it's a portal to somewhere.
Yeah.
yeah,
You really
yeah.
think it's that simple. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, we didn't know it was gonna work that good, but then we watched it back and we're like, shit, it looks sick. So we just
Yeah.
kind of we rolled with it.
Should we do our game? I don't think we did our game in season one. Maybe that started season two.
That was like forever
Oh,
ago.
anyway, we play a game.
Okay.
I have 100 questions in front of me. I want you to pick 5 numbers, and that'll correspond to 5 random questions you'll answer.
Okay.
All right, go.
Let's go with 3. 17. 59. 78. What am I at? 4?
Yeah.
And 60.
All right. Number 3. Have you ever walked in on someone in a public restroom? And if so, what did you do?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think, yeah, it's definitely happened like multiple times, but you just do the what is it, like Grandpa Simpson, where you just walk in and you just put the hat back on and walk out. You just pretend it didn't happen.
Hmm.
I think we've all been there.
Mhm.
17. What is something popular right now that future generations will laugh at?
Uh, oh my God. You know, I turned such a blind eye to so much to so much stuff. I hope that people laugh at the fact that so many kids are stoked on just watching other people play video games on
Yeah.
YouTube. It's like the
Somehow I knew
most,
you were going to say that. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but it's mind blowing. They get like billions of views, and it just like I don't get it. But I hope that goes away.
There's whole Twitch channels. You can watch people play board games as well as video
Yeah.
games. I'm like, really?
I mean, I always kind of make the joke of just like there's just too many people, man. Like there's if you name it, it's popular in some degree. You know, like yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid, the Atari games were new. And my brothers and I had two brothers. We would like take shifts where we would be like, all right, like Indiana Jones. It didn't come with any instructions. And of course, there was no internet. So,
Mhm.
like, all right, here's how to get to screen 10. I'm going to bed. You're up. And then they would work on it for hours. And then we would pass the baton until we finally got the Ark of the Covenant at the end. And a lot of it didn't make any sense. And,
Right. Yeah, and you couldn't save the game, right? So
right,
I
no, you
guess
couldn't save it. So you had to start from
yeah.
scratch every time. And it would be like, oh, no, no. When he gets to this point, you got to hit the red button and you pull to the right, not to the left. It was
Yeah,
we had to do everything ourselves, and there was no
yeah. Well,
yeah
I had a I mean, obviously I grew up on, you know, the first Nintendo,
yeah
uh,
yeah.
and playing Zelda on that fucking thing, man, like it, you can I there was a way that I found out later that you could save where you are, but I
But
mean,
not
you
not
know,
not you didn't find that out for a long time.
yeah, like not like how the hell would I know? I only found out when like I got the internet like way later, you know. So like
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't make that very clear back in the day, but yeah, I guess you like held start, select, and the two A and B buttons at the same time or something, and then it would save where you are, or but at the same time, like you still only get 5 lives or whatever to try to like get all the way to the end. It was just
Yeah.
like possible.
All right, we are up to 59. Do you love or hate roller coasters?
I mean, I don't love or hate them. They're fun, you know? Yeah. We only have one in Calgary, and it's like actually just outside of Calgary. It's like a shitty little theme park that's been around since the 80s. And they've ever since then they still only just have the one roller coaster. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
I hate the old wood ones that just creak and
Yeah.
you think this whole thing is coming down.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
be
there
lucky to survive. Yeah.
well, I went to that one on at Disneyland. Uh it's like the one that goes through the train. It's like on a old west train and like the wood tracks and whatever.
Yeah.
I went on that one, and then like 2 weeks later, it fucking derailed and killed
Oh
a
my,
Oh
couple
my
people.
God.
I know. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, pretty
It's like
crazy.
Final Destination. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
all right, 78. What is your worst habit?
What is your worst habit? Okay.
probably biting my nails. Honestly, I do that a
Mm.
lot. Yeah, I don't got nails. I'm trying to stop that, but it's hard.
Yeah, I always find myself doing that when patients get on my nerves. I just start chewing.
Well, and then I do it so much to where like I chipped my tooth here too. Like
Oh wow.
I
Yeah.
can't stop doing it. It sucks.
I will like clip my fingernails and then I'll be like, are we gonna see how the toes look now? I can't deal with that today.
Yeah,
I
yeah. No,
can't.
just keep the
That's
socks
a
on.
whole nother thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, last one. Did you ever wish or feel that you should be born in another decade?
I mean, I only wish that I could have seen like the early workings of all those classic bands in the 70s, you know? So if I was born like a good 10 to 20 years earlier, that'd be cool, but I'm pretty I'm pretty happy with, the era I was born. You know, I still got to see all the classic bands. I'm missing some, obviously, but no, like I wouldn't. I don't wish to change anything, but I daydream about like seeing Deep Purple back in the Coverdale era and stuff like
Maybe you
that.
just need a time machine instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me a
Yeah.
time machine or the time diamond on the cover of our album. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one interesting thing about like when you read interviews with or watch interviews with Paul Stanley, like he was like, I went and saw Deep Purple and they were half an hour late. And we were like, we're not gonna be late. We're gonna fucking be on time. Like that was a big deal with Kiss was punctuality. Like he was offended, like if they went and saw, Blackfoot and they were late or,
Yeah, I
they
mean, yeah, that was Blackmore's thing. He didn't give a shit,
he didn't give a shit. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
he was just like, a world-renowned prick, but,
yeah,
Well, we can't wait to see the next phases of the things you're in. I'm really interested in the thrash thing, the death thrash.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your extreme.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty pumped on it. So as soon as we get some releases going, I'm gonna put them all up on the page and just kind of share it with everyone. And I'm gonna keep the page active and everything, and keep up with messages the best I can. But right now, I'm just focusing on building up down here and making it an awesome place to make music and raising my daughter and doing all that
Mm.
fun stuff. So
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.